Alrighty, welcome back to Retro Alliance Gaming. Now today I'm going to be doing a fix-it video. Yes, I have not done one of these for 4 years. Now 4 years ago I made the video just because I wanted to have some fun and be informative, and I actually got, I don't know, something like 24,000 views and a lot of people thanking me for fixing their system. And what I did was I was showing them how to adjust the laser on the Dreamcast to extend the life of it. After I got the outpour of fantastic comments, I felt very good about the fact I helped bring a lot of these back to life. And now that I've rebooted up our channel and I'm starting to put a lot of content, I'm going to be doing a lot of fix-it videos, and I figure why not follow it up with another Dreamcast video. Now, how to know if it's not a laser problem most of the time. I'm going to talk about how you fix an auto reset problem. Now what this means is you put in a game, it boots up, you start playing, and for some reason in the middle of gameplay it just decides to reset and go back to the main screen. This has happened to me multiple times, and if you do, generally it's an auto reset problem, and it's normally a power supply issue. Now it doesn't necessarily mean your power supply is broke. It could not be getting enough voltage, but this is the beginning part where you can see if you can fix it. And if you happen to have a voltmeter, you can see how many volts are coming out of it, but that's going to be a whole nother video. The first thing we're going to concentrate on is how to try to fix the auto reset problem, and this is your first step. Now, first you're going to take the Dreamcast and you're going to flip it over. It's going to be one of 4 screws. There's 1 here, 2, 3, and then you press down on this over here, pop it right out, 4. Now I went ahead and already took all of these screws out. I was doing a previous video and it wasn't close enough, and I set them to the side. So there's the black and here's the silver ones. Okay, the silver ones go right here where the modem was, and then the black goes over there as stated. Now what you're going to want to have for this video, you're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver. Okay, you're going to need some alcohol. I use 50%. Now some people tell you to use 70-30 or all different types of amounts. I bought this and it worked perfectly fine for me. And a couple of Q-tips. Now, very importantly, make sure you have a clean space area and touch your hands on something metal to make sure that you get the static electricity off. If you can possibly buy staticless gloves, that would be the ideal way to do this. But as long as you're careful, you're fine. Now, after you've taken out 1, 2, 3, 4, you flip it back around and you just lift this off like that. Okay, just like so. Now we're going to get into here. Now here's where the power supply is. Very important what I want to show you here. These metal prongs right here are basically connected to the motherboard below, and what happens is when you turn it on, all the electricity is conducted from here down through the motherboard, or it comes up, and that's how it all works. Now what happens sometimes is over time these get heated up, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. First I'm going to show you how to take it out. There's a wire in the corner right here, okay? And there's these little flaps, and what you want to do is...
Hang on.
Yep.
Can't see it.
Can you see it okay now?
Yeah.
Okay, what you want to do is kind of just pop this out like this, okay? Make sure it's popped out all the way around.
And there's the flap.
And there's the flap right here, which is where it presses under, okay? You put that under the flap, pull it out. And then right here, there's a little tiny button. If you see this, you want to go ahead and press it, and then go ahead and you can pop this right out. Okay. Next, I've already done this, but there is a screw right here and right here. Give you an example really quick since I already popped these out. There's screws that go right there and right over here. Can you see that? Okay, those are the only 2 screws that you have to remove. So you're going to remove those.
Besides the ones to take off the Dreamcast.
Well, yeah, well, they already know the top part. So you're going to do those, of course, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, always fall by that unless it's a piercing, apparently.
Seriously.
And you're going to go ahead and pop those out, okay? I just had it taken apart previously. Now, after you're done with that, you're going to need to shimmy this out. So you're going to want to lift up with one finger like that, and then you're going to want to come around to this back end, and you can basically just kind of shimmy this and pop it out, okay? Now we have this piece out. Now, very importantly, something on here I want to show you. On here, there's two pieces that are pointed right here, and basically you don't want to touch these at all. Okay, these conduct a lot of electricity, and especially if you have it plugged in, which I'll show you in a minute. But basically, try not to touch these, and try not to have any static electricity on your hands when you do. Okay, and also it could be rather dangerous, so be careful. Now, when you're done with this, you can go ahead and set it to the side. Now, here's the important part. These metal pieces, again, if you go ahead and you look at these are the ones I said that are connected to the motherboard. If you open it and you notice that they are bent slightly to the left or slightly to the right, 90% chance that is your problem. Also them being dirty. So the first thing you want to do while wearing a pair of gloves, I'm just going to do this with my fingers, it doesn't mean that you guys do this, is if it's bent, you're going to want to press onto them, and you're going to want to push. But you're gonna put a decent amount of pressure on it, but not too much, and you're just gonna want to hold it and keep pushing in the direction until you have it upright. Again, I recommend gloves. You don't want it dirty, you don't want to touch it with your hands, and you don't want fingerprints. But don't be in a rush. If you break one of these, you're screwed and you can't do anything about it. Okay? Just so you know, in the future, I'll be showing you more videos like this. Is the battery that runs your clock, which is soldered in, and there's some other details I'm going to show you later. One thing while this is open I want to point out to you is actually three things. Right here on the controller port, don't ever unplug or plug in a controller while the system is on, because with these systems, they're known to pop and fail if you do that. Not to mention the fact that it could actually ruin your memory cards if you pop your memory cards in and out, and you can lose your 30 hours of Shenmue or Skies of Arcadia after you grind it for 20 years of your life in that game. Okay. While you have it open, make sure everything's clean. You might as well go ahead and get a one of those cans and go aerosol cans and spray it out. And you might want to go ahead and clean the lens. All you have to do is you take a Q-tip, you dip it in this alcohol. This has already been previously cleaned, and very lightly in circular motions, you're going to want to go ahead and do this. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this about 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and then you're going to flip the Q-tip around on the other end and do this to let it dry. The reason why I use alcohol is because it evaporates quickly versus something like Windex. Now, might as well do it while it's open. Next bit of business you're going to want to do. Take your alcohol, okay? Go ahead and dip the tip like I'm doing now, okay? I'm going to go ahead and seal this really quick. Now, it's going to be a little bit too wet, so you're going to want to take some kind of cloth. I'm just using some toilet paper here, and you're going to want to squeeze it like this, okay? Make sure it's not too wet. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to each one of these edges, and you're going to want to clean it. Now, the reason for this is over time, dirt gets built up on these, and if you have dirt where it's supposed to be conducting, electricity through, it can cause issues with it flowing, which can also cause auto reset. So you want to go around on each end of this, and you're going to want to clean it. When you're done, you take the opposite end, dry it on both sides, and just repeat. If you see that your Q-tip's dirty, do it until there's no more dirt. Next, don't be afraid to do this. Take this, and through each one of the middle of these, push it in here. You kind of hear a sound, okay? And you're going to want to clean it like that. And then you're going to go on the next one. Okay, and then next one. Don't worry about stretching them out, it's fine. And just so you know, these were previously bent. This is my brother-in-law's that I gave him. And what I went ahead and did was I bent them back up, and now I haven't cleaned them. So I'm going to be testing this live with you guys afterwards. So you're going to go, well, not live, but you get it. So you're going to go ahead and do that. Now, if you look at your Q-tip and it's dirty, get another Q-tip, dip it, dry it off again, and repeat. And go back and forth on the outside and on the inside. Okay, very important. Also, make sure you remember to dry it when you're done, okay? Don't want to have any kind of moisture. Also, again, make sure you dab off your Q-tip. If you have liquid that drips into here, you're literally dripping it to the motherboard, and I don't want you guys, breaking your systems here. Again,
or starting a fire.
Or starting a fire, but that would be unlikely.
You really need to sort out your priorities.
Now, when you're done with this, on the back of this, okay, look right there, you can see the holes that are all right there, okay? And those connect directly to these metal prongs that are right here. Okay, now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to line it up. You can pop this out if you want. because sometimes it feels like it could be in the way, which is very simple, but all you really have to do is get it lined, and I'll show you right now. I'm going to go ahead and voila. Okay, now I just set it there. Now one thing I want you to notice is, see those other metal pieces? You need to make sure that the needles are going on the inside. See where I'm putting them? Okay, now the next important part is, if you see these before you put it on and these are pushed upwards at all, you're going to want to get something small to dig into there.
Smaller than a
Yeah, smaller than a Q-tip, and you're going to want to push them back, because sometimes they come forward. It's also a good idea to get something very tiny and get in there and try to clean those with alcohol, because that's also touching to connect to the board.
Maybe cut off the end of your Q-tip.
Yeah, cut off the end of the Q-tip, wrap a little cloth around there. Anything you can do to get creative while this is out, clean those. And again, you will see some of them astray. Push them all back. Now, to get back to what I was doing, we're going to go ahead and pop this back in. Sometimes it's kind of out of your sight, so you got to, be careful with how you're doing it. So let me take a look-see really quick. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now, can you come up here, sweetie? Okay, so right there, once you have them in, you're going to take it and push it down like this. Okay, snap. You notice that the metal pieces came up, and I want you to really notice that they're behind there. When I tip it this way, you can see. Okay, now it's fresh. Everything's clean. They're standing straight up, and now you're going to have no problem with current going backwards and forwards. If you're done with this and it does not work, you probably have another issue, and you're going to need to get a meter to check the electricity, but that will be a whole nother video. Now after this, you take this cord, and don't be afraid to get in there, okay? You're not going to necessarily break anything. You're going to want to put it back under this flap right here, okay? Pops right under. This goes right to the side, okay? This is so you can close your system without having issues. Push it all to the side like this, kind of dig your nail in there. Now see these holes right here, and see those metal pieces? That also connects. So you're going to want to take that Q-tip, one of course that isn't dirty, and you're going to want to go ahead and clean each side of them. And as I said, repeat like I told you to do before. Make sure everything is nice and freshly clean. These systems, are fairly old now, coming out in September 1999, and no matter what you do, they're going to build up some kind of dirt or dust, or gunk if you can't see it. So you're going to want to clean it with both ends, wet and dry, and then take the holes right there and pop it in. Now, let me line this up really quick. Hold on one sec. Make sure you get it in there good. If you get it right, it'll be your fillet snap right in, and like this. Okay? That's simple. Now, that's the beginning. Now's the time where we're going to want to test the system. Now, there's no point in going ahead and putting it all back together, popping the disc in, taking it out. You might as well just test it while it's standing out. So stay tuned for a brief cut, and we're going to find out if the cleaning actually worked and if the system will boot up. Alrighty guys, now this is the part where we're going to test, and I want you to pay very close attention, okay? This is very important. I'm plugging my video in. As you can see, I have a VGA box. Don't worry if you don't have one of these. If you don't, I'll talk about it in the future, but it gives you 640 by 480 output, and that's how I have my Dreamcast set up, which is going through Atlona HC up converter, so I basically have it hooked up through HDMI. So anyways, just so you're not confused, I'm explaining that. You're going to pop that in, and then you're going to take your power supply and you're going to put it in. Note, the second you plug this in, you're giving power to these components right here. Do not touch these at all. I just can't emphasize that enough. I don't want you to have issues, blow your system, or hurt yourself. Now you're going to go ahead and plug it in like that, okay? So now everything's set. Now, to get to the next part, we're going to have... oh, sorry, I can't see where I'm trying to show them. Okay, so on the next part, the way that you turn it on, I'm going to show you right now. If you see this button right here, this is under the power button. You press that, and you can see the lights on, okay? That's what turns it on. And if you look back here, bring it over here, hon. If you look right here, there's a little tab right there. That's what makes the disc spin when you close the door, okay? So you're going to need to hold that down while the disc is sitting on top of the system. So for this test, I'm going to go ahead and pop in Sternwind, which is a fantastic shmup made by Red Spot Games that I bought about a couple years ago. Amazing company, by the way. So I'm going to go ahead and put the disc in, set it like so, okay? And I'm going to have her see this while it's spinning, and then pan it up to the TV so you can see if it's loading. So the next thing you're going to want to do is press this button, okay? And then you're going to want to come back here and hold this, okay? Now, let's go ahead and look at the screen. I think it's stretched right now for some reason. Ignore the image if it's stretched, but let's see if it loads up and what's going on. Okay, we need to put the date in. Let's say it is...
Babe.
There we go, it's the year 2033, and the Dreamcast is still awesome. Okay. Now let's give it a second. Now I'm going to turn it back off. Then we set the time. Because it's acting as if it doesn't have a disc, so hold on 1 sec. Okay. Voila. Now ignore the stretch. I'm going to go ahead and fix that. See, picture mode. Let's get it to native. Sorry about that. Okay. And as you can see, it's loading perfectly fine, which means that this is actually working. I let go of the button for a second, so it's not going to switch screens, but I promise you that the disk is actually loading and everything is going. Let's see if we can get it to get... There we go. Not enough memory. Go ahead and press start. Because I never have enough memory, apparently. Give it just a sec. And there we go. Red spot games. And that means we're good. So basically, I probably fixed it when I straightened them out, but they may have been dirty and that may have been the fix, and this is why you want to go ahead and do both things. So let's just keep loading for a sec. And there we go. Stormwind. And you're completely good to go. Go ahead and bring it back down here. So as you can see, again, I'm holding this button to make it spin, and this is when I'm pressing for power. Now when you're done, you can let go of that. The disc is going to stop spinning, and then you can go ahead and press this button right here, okay? And you're going to turn it off. Then you're going to come over here without touching any of the other stuff, and you're going to wiggle this out, the power, and then you're going to wiggle this part out, okay? Now that we're done with that, all you actually have to do is, we have a system running and working well. Now, just so you know, I wasn't actually sure whether it was going to boot up or not, but I have fixed many a Dreamcast, and it seemed to work like a charm every time. Now, after that, you're just going to go ahead and you're going to want to line this all back up. It's very easy. You just press it like that, okay? And very simple. Don't need to show you this part. Put the screw 1, 2, 3, and 4 back in. Screw them in. And then when you're done, you take this piece, which is the modem that goes on it, and you basically pop this back.
Remember, the silver ones go to the modem one.
Yes. And you're going to want to go ahead and pop this back in, and you're done. After that, your system is completely fixed, and you have a brand new Dreamcast. Now, well, so to speak, the thing is, if you guys have any questions in the future when you're doing this, do not hesitate to ask me a question. I would love to hear it. If you did this and it works, please let me know, because it gives me, it makes me feel honored to know that I was able to help you with this working. If you cannot get the system working, then I will tell you the next way to fix it. But anyways, thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you next time.